First part is executive summary. We focus on high-rise real estate investment in China's Kuala Lumpur. By comparing and evaluating the sales of several different apartments, it can be concluded that rental is expected to remain stable over the next 2 years as a result of COVID-19. Through the analysis of the second-hand housing market in Malaysia, we can know that the real estate market has a good outlook and citizens show a strong love for beautiful suburban apartments. The next part is introduction. The purpose of this paper is to analyze a suitable housing for our investment needs. Our target is to invest in high-rise properties in Kuala Lumpur. Based on the current situation, our intention is to look for a real estate investment to increase the income stream, so I chose a high-rise property, the main purpose of which is to buy and rent. So this is Alan Dama location characteristics facilities table. The deliberations were conducted on the basis of several criteria, familiarities with the location. Living in the nearby Caros area allows us to monitor the properties we invest in. The second concern is the liquidity of the market, with the amenities of developed cities. Caros is in high demand for rentals, hence the high occupancy rate.
Good day everyone, my name is Jimmy Go with metric number 2617886. Now I would like to continue with the valuation approaches and methods. In this part of the report is a critical aspect of the valuation analysis since it describes the techniques used in estimating value. There are two valuation approaches utilized in determining the value of the entity, which are sale comparison and income capitalization approach. Sale comparison approach is a real estate appraisal method that compares a property to other properties with similar characteristics that have sold recently. The method takes into account the effect that individual features that have on the overall property value. Income capitalization approach is a methodology used by appraisers that estimate the market value of property based on the income of the property. With the income approach, a property value today is the present value of the future cash flow the owner that can be expected to receive. There are three methods for the income approach, which are gross income multiplier, direct capitalization method, and discounted cash flow method. In this assignment, we are using sale comparison approach, direct capitalization, and discounted cash flow methods to compute the market value of the chosen property. In sale comparison approach, the property that we compare to Alan Damai Residency Cheras are the Rumah Yang, Condominium Langat Jaya, Prisma Cheras, and Green Surya. Firstly, we assume a plus minus 5% of adjustment to comparable properties and 1 year as a benchmark. After some basic calculation, we are able to get a market value of RM 328K for Alan Damai Residency. For direct capitalization method, this approach of the income method capitalizes net operating income. The capitalization rate uses estimated net operating income and a purchase price that converts the net operating income to an estimated property value. Discounted cash flow method considers the future cash flow for each year of the anticipated holding period plus cash expected from the sale of the property at the end of the holding period to discount the property to a present value. First of all, before we compute the net operating income for Alan Damai Residency Cheras and other comparable properties, we assume the rental income for each property is not fixed and the operating expenses remain unchanged or constant. We calculate each NOI by using the management fees of RM 0.11 per square feet, annual insurance fees of RM 130, annual utility fees with 240 per month, assessment tax of 2% and parcel rent of RM 20. After that, we calculate the cap rate of Alan Damai Residency and we get 2.5397%. Lastly, we use this cap rate to calculate market value of Alan Damai by using the direct capitalization approach, and we managed to get RM 363K. For discounted cash flow method, we assume rental growth rate maintained for 2 years and increase at 10.28% onwards. Operating expenses expected increase 5% per year, 40% of expenses stop. Due to COVID-19, we set the discounted rate higher with 12% and the average long run growth of 2.79%. Finally, we get a present value of Alan Damai with RM 190K, which is lower than the purchase price of RM 350K. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon everyone and good afternoon doctor. My name is Chan Song Mei. My metric number is 261464. I'd like to continue with our presentation, which is real estate market analysis. So real estate market analysis is a study of the current property market values comparable to the property that broke. It serves as a tool for determining the market value of the property. Currently, an unsold apartment in the major cities of Malaysia are priced as ringgit 8.3 billion and same as US dollar 1.9 billion. So we can see that it's a large amount for the unsold apartment in Malaysia. According to the Valuation and Property Services Department, Malaysia House Price Index rose a vanishingly small 0.41% to Q3 2019, which you guys can see from the graph, which is the left side graph. It shows the numbers. And however, in Q3 2019, the house price actually dropped 0.66% when adjusted for the inflation, and the house price index fell by 0.76%, which is negative 1.09% inflation adjusted on a quarterly basis in Q3 2019. And then the pandemic of COVID-19 in making it the house price index even worse. So you guys can see from the graph, which is the left side graph, it shows the line is actually fell down to the very low current situation due to our pandemic of COVID-19. So in making it worse for our house price index in Malaysia. Okay. So the next is based on the demand analysis rental market portal for iProperty.com.my H1 2020, it shows that the rental listing for the first half of 2020 shows patterns in demand growth comparable to the first half of 2019. Overall, in the midst of the global COVID-19 outbreak, the H1 2020 national market for rental property decreased by 5.6%, which you guys can see from the left side graph shows the numbers. And due to the numerous sections, the national lockdown that was implemented in mid-March 2020 brought differently economic activities to a grinding halt, including property viewing. And while the large transactions such as the property are likely to be held back for the buyer can restrict spending to only necessary things to ensure their financial securities, and this actually can help the rental market as housing is still considered a necessity for most individuals. So in H1 2020, lower prices, high rise property recorded a higher rental yield of above 4% comparable to landed property. And you guys can see from the left side picture, the condominium and service residences recording rental increased by yield of 4.17% and 4.03% respectively, while the terrace house record a 3.43% yield. So that's all for my part. Thank you.
Good day to Doctor. I will continue the presentation with the affordability and financing analysis. So I'll talk about the affordability. And when we talk about the affordability, we will first look at our household income to match the house price. So household income is the income earned by each individual within the household, and we will measure the trend of our house price based on the house price index in Malaysia, as it is an indicator for house price trends, as well as an analytical tool for estimating the housing affordability. So based on the Department of Statistics in Malaysia, the average gross income in urban area of Selangor had actually increased from 2016 to 2019 from 9,671 ringgit to 11,009 ringgit per month. And it also have a compounded annual growth rate of 4.3%. And in the house price index, it projected a decrease in house price since the January of 2018 until the third quarter of 2020. So this graph is provided by Trading Economics. And we also see that with the 6,000 of household income, we are still manageable to own a house that is priced between 408,000 to 455,000. But in our case study, right, we targeted our house is Alam Damai, which only cost us 315,000 only. So theoretically speaking, Alam Damai is rather affordable to us. And the government played a role to transform our theoretically affordable to practically affordable with the budget 2021. Because the government actually offered incentives such as full stamp duty exemptions on memorandum of transfer MOT and loan agreement for the first home price below 5,000 ringgit. So as long as we buy the house on January 2021, we are entitled to this waiver of stamp duty. So generally speaking, we deem that the house in Alam Damai is rather affordable. Thank you.
Next, I'll continue more with the financing analysis. As you all know, most of the people, they are finance their property with a mortgage loan. Therefore, the lending rate fixed by the central bank has become an important aspect for us to look at when we want to purchase a property. This graph has shown the lending rate fixed by the central bank from year 2016 to 2020. As we can see, the bank rate has actually experienced a significant drop in year 2020. It was due to the decrease in the overnight policy rate determined by the central bank, and the drop of bank rate is actually an initiative taken by the government to stimulate the economy during the COVID-19 situations. And we can say that the cost of lending is actually dropping compared to previous year. So there are many types of mortgage loan available in the market. In order to help us to find one that's suitable for our needs, we have included the use of the financial websites such as the Loan Street, and it can help us to filter the available loan that are suitable for our needs. So by entering the property value and the amount and the time we want to borrow, we are able to select out several available loan. And in our case, we have chosen the OCBC My First Home scheme as our mortgage loan. When we apply for bank loan, the debt service ratio will be considered by the bank to determine the eligibility of the borrower to pay the mortgage loan after paying other monthly debt or liability. So in our case, after taking the monthly car loan and education loan into consideration, our debt service ratio is formulated at 34%, which is lower compared to the market debt service ratio at the upper limit of 50 to 80%. So apart from debt service ratio, the loan to value ratio will also used by the bank to examine the lending risk. So by using the last transaction property price as our appraisal price, we expect our loan to value ratio at 94.59%. So other than that, the other criteria such as type of property, age of borrower, and income of borrower will also considered by the bank to examine the lending risk. By calculated the DSR and the LTV, we are quite confident to secure a bank loan from the bank. So last but not least, the housing loan refinancing is another alternative that can considered by the property owner in property financing. So by using the refinancing, the property owner, they can replace their current mortgage loan with new loan that offer better benefit. So people usually use the loan refinancing to generate more cash for their personal use or for investment purpose. However, investors need to take note that this loan refinancing is only applicable to property hold more than specific period of time.